Hello students, I welcome you to the second session of February month Science and Tech, right? So let us starting with the first one, Indian Data Relay Satellite System. Now this particular satellite system ISRO is developing, so put up its own satellite system in the space so that they can communicate with the other satellites in the space. So having one satellite here so that the communication can be established between them, right? So IDRSS is planned to track and be constantly in touch with the other Indian satellites, particularly those in the low Earth orbit, right? Okay. Um, right. So India plans to bring its own era of space-to-space tracking and communication. So earlier, being tracking being done from the ground stations of these satellites. Now this tracking can be done from the space itself. Okay. Right. So in the coming years, it will be vital because as we are moving forward for as we discussed in the last in the February first in the January ISRO in news session that many of the programs we have planned Gaganyaan, right, Shukrayaan. So for those missions, it will be highly useful. So our expeditions to Moon, Mars, and Venus, it will be highly useful, right? And space station that we already read, international space station that we are striving to build, that both combining all these things will help us to in our interplanetary missions. Okay, right. So ISRO plans to send two of these systems to the geosynchronous equatorial orbit. So please remember the orbits of these things. Okay. For example, today also we will discuss some of the Earth observation satellite, communication satellite. Also, you do have to focus on the orbits in which they are going. Okay. Right. So the first one will the end of the 2020 and second one by the end of the 2021. So that means this particular piece of information will be in the news for the coming 1 to 2 years, right? And that is why it becomes important for us. Now US and Russia has already have their own relay satellite system in 17 and 80s. They have around 10 satellites each of those. Okay. Right. So now we'll discuss some satellites, right? Specifically focusing on the two satellites, communication satellite and the Earth observation, which are in the news in the past 1 year. Now apart from the other, there are in the ISRO website they have mentioned around six kind of satellites. Seven they have mentioned. I have combined two of them. So more importantly, for our navigation, communication, and the observation are the important ones and scientific ones. So these one we have discussed in the last session, right? So Chandrayaan 1, 2, 3, Gaganyaan, and all these things. Navigation we have already discussed Navik, okay, IR and SS. Then communication satellites and Earth observation we will discuss today. Other things, Saral and YouthSat, earlier experimental Aryabhat starting ones. So they were experimental and some of the student satellites are also doing. So these are the types of satellites how ISRO defines. So first one we're going to read is Earth observation satellite. So this is a screenshot directly from the ISRO's website. Okay, so past 1 year they have launched two. One is Cartosat 3 and second is Reset to B1 to BR1. Okay, so you see they are in the first one is in the Earth low Earth orbit and second is Sun synchronous polar orbit. So both are in the low Earth orbit. Okay, right. So both are by the PSLVs. You can see few things. Launch vehicle is PSLV. Focus application is disaster management on Earth observation. So these are the Earth observation satellites. Okay. So in the examination, they can ask you a very basic question: difference between Earth observation and communication satellite, right? They can ask you about the which is the vehicle that they are carrying, which orbit they go in, and these things. You can also keep in mind the weight also, the weight around 600 to 700 kg. Okay, so keep in mind the weight also because as we have discussed in that astrosat, they can ask you about the weight also. So just have an idea of it. Okay, just okay, not specifically the values, but what is the range of these things. Okay, so India's remote sensing satellite system, so also known as the Earth observation satellite. So they are mostly polar or sun synchronous orbit in the low Earth orbit. Okay, we'll discuss sun synchronous orbit in this particular session in the coming slides. Okay, so they are known as the remote sensing satellites as they collect information on the objects on the earth. So remote sensing technology they use. Okay, so the radiation of the sun that is reflected and scattered by the object on the surface of the earth and they track that radiation. Okay, right. So they are in the polar orbit. Then applications, as we have discussed, FCA seen in a very brief that focus is on the disaster management, for specifically natural resource management, land use assessment and planning, mineral prospecting, forest surveys, agriculture. You can give the example. This is the main stuff, not in prelim. In the mains, RS1 and IRS1A and 1B were used to enumerate 15 agroclimatic regions of India. This is what you can write. So they study the urban sprawl, the traffic management, and all these things. Satellite imagery, you must have heard of it, right? So satellite imagery is nothing but this only. Okay. So important remote sensing satellites of India. So ResourceSat, Cartosat. So third one is launched now. Cartosat, ReSat series. Now this is not specifically that these remote sensing satellites are there only for the in the lower Earth orbit. There can be satellites which are in the geostationary orbit also. They are also remote sensing satellites. So remember, it is not only. So if the question focuses on only, this is not right. Okay. Some of them are also in the geostationary orbit. These are used for the weather forecasting. Examples being INSAT 3D, Kalpana, INSAT 3D, 3N, INSAT 3DR. In fact, last year INSAT 3DR was in news. It was launched last year. Last year means before May 2019. So discussing the ReSat series. So ReSat series is radio imaging remote sensing satellite. So this is remote imaging, which is different from the optical remote sensing. Okay. So optical remote sensing uses the light reflected by the object on the Earth's surface. Okay. So on this radio imaging uses the, so in this satellite beams a radio signal. Okay, and this radio signal is being used by the satellites when it is reflected back. Now, this is the difference between optical and the remote sensing satellite. Now, optical ones, remote sensing satellites are better because they can even be used in the night times in the cover or in the rain time. Okay, so the application of the radio imaging is more. Okay, so remember that because it is mentioned here and also in the diagrams also. Okay, so this was in the news. ReSat 2 BR1, right? So it is for the national security. So it's a second radar imaging satellite in the ReSat 2B series. Mission life is 5 years, right? It has equipped with synthetic aperture radar. Where we have read it, NISAR, NASA, ISRO, synthetic aperture radar. There we also discussed, right? So it can take the picture of it during the day and the night, and also under the cloudy condition. Used for agriculture, disaster management support, and national security. Okay. Then it was launched by the PSLV. So PSLV, GSLV, we'll read somewhere else. Okay. Detail about them. What is the difference? But these are the very basic stuff. On the static, you must be knowing it, or you should cover it on your own end. So difference between the GSLV. Whenever you read this very specific space technology in your static portion, the very basic things are types of orbits. Okay. It's hardly a day's work. Types of orbit, and then GSLV versus PSLV. PSLV is also said to be the ISRO's workhorse. Earlier in the GSLV, we have taken some of the failures, but now PSLV we launched without any fail. Okay. So India's first indigenous radar satellite, that is ReSat 1. It was ReSat 1. The series 1 started. Now we have launched the other part of it. Okay, and there also, as we were saying, the difference between optical remote sensing and the radar satellites, radio imaging. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Okay, then so PSLV C48 launches the ReSat 2BR1 and 9 other foreign satellites. Then Cartosat series, Cartosat 3 was launched. So Cartosat is again Earth observation satellite launched at an altitude of 509 kilometers. Okay, so again it is being as a remote sensing satellite. It is used for large scale urban planning, resource uses, infrastructure development, land and information system, and all these things. Important thing is it has a pan-chromatic resolution capability of 25 centimeter. So very advanced stage. Advanced payloads are there. Okay. Then which in orbit it will be? Sunk synchronous polar orbit. Okay. So launch vehicle is PSLV C47. So C47 for Cartosat. Then for ReSat BR1, that was C48. Okay, important thing is that first time it is using an indigenous Vikram processor. So processor name Vikram. Why this processor is being used? This processor is used for the rocket's navigation, guidance, and the control system. So first time we are using it as an indigenous processor in the Cartosat series. Cartosat. So not only Cartosat, but we have launched more than around 13 plus nano satellites also. Okay, all the USA's nano satellites from the commercial nano satellites from USA, including one mesh bed, that's a communication test bed. This is mesh bed. So basically it establishes the communication between the satellite and this on a very experimental level and a very okay. Then some super dope satellites are there, not very important. Flock 4P. So remember these two names just. So Flock 4P and mesh bed. So why they were in use in Indian context? Because they were launched along with the Cartosat 3. That's all in the PSLV 47 C47. Okay, it has been launched by the new commercial arrangement, that is New Space India Limited. So this question also can be asked, what is this New Space India Limited? So it is a commercial arm of the ISRO. ISRO has another commercial arm known as the Antriksh or Antrix, you can say. So this is the newly built company, New Space India Limited, to take up the commercial operations of the ISRO, right? Next is GSAT-1. So Geo Imaging Satellite 1. It is also will be an Earth observation satellite, but it will be, as I told you, it will be placed in the not all the observation satellites are placed in the low Earth orbit or synchronous polar orbit. This satellite is in the geostationary orbit of 36,000 kilometer. Okay, so it is a high resolution camera which will help to monitor any changes in the border, overall geographical conditions of the country. Okay, it will be by the GSLV Mark II because it is going to the geostationary orbit. So going to the higher orbit requires a more powerful launch vehicle. So that more powerful launch vehicle is GSLV Mark II. Then GSLV Mark III that went for the Chandrayaan 2, sorry. Okay, right. So it was supposed to be launched in March, but it was postponed. So whenever it will be launched again, it will be in the news. Okay, right. Then we have read about something about Earth observation satellite, right? Now we discuss something about the communication satellite. Now communication satellites are basically GSAT series or INSAT series. GSAT series, you can see GSAT 30 was in the news in January 2020. It was launched. Okay. Now the launch vehicle, you can see it is not an Indian launch vehicle. Launch mass, you can also see more than 3,000 kilogram. So this is why this this weight is important. Why? Because there is stark difference between the Earth observation satellite weight versus the commercial communication satellite weight. Okay, and this is why you need to keep in mind the weight. Secondly, you also need to remember the launch vehicle also, because they can ask you for the launch vehicle for the recent satellite that has been launched. Okay, so INSAT system is one of the largest domestic communication system in the Asia Pacific, with the operational satellites established in 1983, commissioning of INSAT 1B, then GSAT 17 joined the constellation and all these things. Okay, right. Then GSAT 30, so it is being launched from the French Guiana. This is the place. Specific place is the Guiana Space Center in the Kourou. Right, okay, on the Ariane 5 launch vehicle, not Indian launch vehicle. Okay, so it will replace INSAT 4A, which was launched in 2005. Right. Okay, so this was the first mission of the year of the ISRO. So the use of GSAT communication satellite, toward this communication satellite is being used for the DTH service connectivity. Okay, VSAT for the ATMs, teleport, e-governance application. So GSAT is for that purpose. Okay, now just for a additional thing, how can you use this data? Okay, this is for prelims is fine, but how can you use these things for the mains also, main exam? So when you're writing about e-governance, you write all the steps, right? But if you add more steps, such as GSAT 30 is focusing on the e-governance like that, or when you talk about internal security, so we had GSAT 7, specifically military satellite was there. Then we have read about the this Cartosat, this GISAT also, or reset BR1 also. These are used for the national security. So write that. Use your prelims knowledge in your main examination. Then you will get some extra points. If you are able to relate with the current affair or able to give the very good example from the current affair, it always adds on to your weightage to your answer, right? So please do that. Then IRS, this ISRO has been very we have outsourced when we have some capabilities to launch our own satellite. Then why we have outsourced it to the other country? So the point is we are saving it for saving our GSLV Mark 2 and Mark 3 for the our own Gaganyaan mission. Okay, and GSAT 30, as we have seen, it is a much heavier vehicle, so it will not be launched by the PSLV, and this is why we are going for the outside one. Okay, right. Next is yeah, so save the 2 or 3 upcoming Mark 1-3 for the first human space flight for the Gaganyaan. Okay, because we have to some test flights we have to do. We have discussed that before sending the manned mission, we have to do some test flights. So for that we need GSLVs Mark 3 and Mark 2 ready for that. Okay, right. Next is solar orbital mission. So solar orbital mission is by ESA and NASA. So this is what you need to focus. Which are the agencies involved in such missions? Okay. Previously we have discussed the NASA's interplanetary missions, right? One question has also been asked on it. I have not discussed that question, but I'll put that question somewhere, right? So we have discussed the NASA's interplanetary missions, right? Then ESAs we have not done. So we discussed two or three things of the ESA today. At the end, I'll try to put one what we say umbrella diagram for the ESA's initiative also, European Space Agency. Now as the prelims has extended, so it give us more time and flexibility and more capability, more time for innovation as well in this regard, right? So this orbital mission is to reveal the sun's secret. Okay, so it will look at the close look at the sun's star's polar region. Mission expected to yield insights into how solar radiant energy affects the earth. Okay, so it is also said that it will uncover the understanding between the sun and the earth connection. Okay, right. So remember, it's a European Space Agency mission with strong NASA application. This is what ESA website says. So primarily it's an ESA's European mission with NASA helping it out. Okay, so it will be launched, launch window they have decided February 20, and launcher will be Atlas V411, not very important, from the USA. The next is the new space telescope, that is CHEOPS, CHEOPS. So this space telescope is by the European Space Agency. Okay, so the idea of this space agency, this scope, is to improve the hunt for the planet outside our solar system. So unlike the Kepler and the TESS mission, we have discussed Kepler and the TESS mission, it is a follow-up mission for the study of the exoplanet rather than a discovery machine. So it will study the exoplanets rather than discovering the new planets. Okay, right. So other informations it will take care, it will cater to. Okay, so some technical stuff, that it will the first mission dedicated to searching exoplanetary mission by performing ultra high precision photometry on the bright star already known to host planets. Okay, so it will, so basically one of the problems that we face for the exoplanet finding is very difficult. It's not easy. Why? Because the host star interferes with the finding of the exoplanet. So what they do, basically one of the idea is being done, that they study the phenomena in the star only. Okay, the impact the exoplanet is having on the star. It's a bit technical stuff, just for our layman understanding, that the finding of the exoplanet is difficult. Okay, hence what they do, they study this particular host star. For example, sun is a star of the earth. Similarly, that exoplanet in outside second solar system will have some impact on the star itself. So they study that kind of a thing. So you can see performing high precision photometry on the bright star already known to the host planet. Okay, and this is how they are doing it. So this is CHOPS. Okay, so Yeah, so how they do it? In order to make the high precision observation of the planet's size as it passes in front of the host star. Okay, now this particular will be situated in the sun synchronous orbit at the 700 km above the earth. So now we will discuss something about the sun synchronous orbit. Now sun synchronous orbit, the orbit, basically the idea is a sun synchronous orbit matches the rate at which sun goes around the sun. So the time in which earth goes around the sun, the satellite completes its revolution around the earth. Simple idea is that. So basically it locks to the sun. Okay, so for example, you're observing one place on earth at noon with this particular satellite. Now you'll observe this place in the noon by the same satellite again and again. So this satellite can be used for earth observation, especially if you want to compare the seasons of that particular place, right? So this just see it here. So here with sun synchronous orbit, we are locked to the sun essentially. So if we start out seeing noon and the man light, we'll always see the noon and the midlight, not man light. Thus it can be useful for the observation and the scientific mission where we want to consistent lighting system condition on the ground. Okay, and it will be used for the, here you can see it, consistent lighting condition of the earth's surface enable us to compare images from the same season over the several years. Okay, so if you are fixed to a particular point on the earth, you are able to see the changes with respect to the seasons and over the years also, right? And this is what sun synchronous orbits help us in. So just remember, sun synchronous orbit, you have to focus on two things. They are the low earth orbits. Secondly, what is the rate at which it's rotated it is same as the which earth goes around the sun. This is how it is sun synchronous, low earth orbit. And many of the earth observation satellites are placed there, and this particular new telescope is also placed there, right? Next is NASA's Artemis mission. T is silent. Okay, so this particular mission is for the putting boots on the moon. So while we were discussing Chandrayaan last time, we were discussing about the why Chandrayaan 2 was very important and why discovery on the moon's south pole is very important, right? Now NASA with this Artemis mission wants to put people on the moon, so establishing a lunar outpost, right? So investigating moon's resources and how they might be exploited for the more interplanetary quests. Okay, so this ARMIS stands for acceleration, reconnection, turbulence and electrodynamics of the moon's interaction with the sun, right? So using moon as a base for explore the Mars and further deeper into the space, broadening the command and the international partnership and all these things. So NASA wants to set up its first women and the next men to the first women and the next men to the moon by 2024. Okay, so it plans on doing through ARMIS lunar exploration program. Now if you remember, the first one went to Apollo 11 when the first person landed on the moon. Then ARMIS will be the second manned mission, and in between unmanned missions such as Chandrayaan, Chang'e 4 we have already discussed of China, right? Chandrayaan 2 was not able to land on the moon, right? So focus on these missions because moon becomes important this time because of Chandrayaan. So they may not ask you question on Chandrayaan, but they can ask question you around Chandrayaan. So they can ask you questions which are related to the, for example, some other missions of the other ESA or NASA with respect to the moon, or China's mission to the moon. So they can ask you in a table wise question also, right? So you have to know many of the missions and their very small details with respect to those missions. Okay, right? Next is 2020 CD3. So what is this? So basically in February month they have discovered one mini moon of Earth. Okay, that was orbiting Earth. Okay, so Earth has a new moon, but however in the March they have seen that is forgotten. That is eventually it was a very temporary phenomena, right? And ultimately it broke free from the Earth orbit and go away on its own path. So very brief period it revolved. It has been orbiting around for 3 years. And now, so they have discovered that in the February month itself. So the question from a UPSC perspective, question can come 2020 CD3 was in the news, what it was. Okay, so it was a mini moon. India, Earth's new temporary moon. Very small size you can see as compared to the moon also, right? Okay. Then habitable zone planet finder. So it has confirmed the first planet, that is G94b. So what is G940b? Sorry, not 4b, 40b. So what is this G940b? So this 40b is the new exoplanet that they have discovered. Who have discovered? Not NASA people. Okay. So it's an astronomical spectrograph that is situated in the USA by some other agencies, and they have confirmed what NASA's Kepler mission first hinted. So NASA's Kepler mission hinted that there can be an exoplanet, right? However, it was difficult to confirm it. But however, this particular spectrograph has confirmed that okay, there is an exoplanet which can be habitable also. Okay, as you have discussed Goldilocks zone, if you remember, so habitable zone is that only. So at a place, if it is too far away from the star, it is too cold. If it is too near to the star, it is too hot. So it has to be in the habitable zone. Okay, similar to Earth, that currently Earth what we are having, right? So it searched the exoplanet by using the Doppler effect. Doppler effect, I hope you must have read. I've just kept for a mention here. Okay, so earlier NASA's Kepler mission has observed a dip in the hot star's light, suggesting that planet was crossing in the front of the star during the orbit. However, it was not confirmed. Okay, one more thing, as I have discussed about the exoplanet. So I was telling you that it's a planet outside the solar system, first thing, and I was telling you it is difficult to see directly with a telescope. Why? Because they are hidden by the bright glare of the light stars they orbit. So they face a lot of glare of the stars, and that is why it is very difficult to observe these exoplanets with the telescope. So about this G940. So this G940 is twice the size of the Earth, orbits star once every 6 days. Every 6 Earth days. Okay, so it is not NASA's, first of all, remember that, not NASA. So it's an astronomical spectrograph built by Penn State University scientists, recently installed on a 10-meter Hubble telescope in the some McDonald Observatory in Texas. Okay, so what is spectrograph? Spectrograph is something that splits light into its component wavelength, and then this component is being studied by the studied for the properties. Okay, right. So this is Doppler effect. So if you have done 11th or 12th physics, you must have read about Doppler effect. So what is Doppler effect? Basically, it is the change in the frequency of the wave in relation to the observer if it is moving to the source or moving away from the source. So very easy thing. For example, two people are there, one person, another person, and this is the source, and it is moving. Achha, Doppler effect is observed both in sound and the light. So if the source is moving towards it, so here the frequency increases and here the frequency reduces. Okay. Right. Next is Thothukudi. Thothukudi. So what is this? So ISRO is acquiring some land in Tamil Nadu for its second launch center. And this particular second launch center they are building for the small satellite launch vehicle. Okay. And is also one of the perfect site to have this also in the South India. So currently our satellites are launched from the Sriharikota launch center in the Andhra Pradesh. Now they are building some other in the Tamil Nadu. Remember that. So the question if comes, it is in the Tamil Nadu district that they are doing. And Thothukudi, the word itself can come. Okay. So this is the location of it. Next is DRDO Young Scientist Laboratories. So they are establishing 5 laboratories. Young scientists means young people will be there. So question if they come, they will not ask DRDO. So the question will be this thing only, Young Scientist Laboratory. So for what purpose it is there? Who is establishing that? So ISRO is not there. DRDO is establishing that. Okay, where they are establishing? Kolkata, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore. Okay, different technology. You can also see artificial intelligence, quantum computing, cognitive technology, asymmetric, smart material, and all these things. Okay, so the idea is to make India self-reliant in the future frontier technologies. Right. So important thing is that it will employ the scientist below the age of 35 only, and that is why the name is Young Scientist thing. And also you can see it is in the collaboration with the other education institution, IIT Hyderabad, IIT Chennai, IIT Mumbai. Okay. Next is last fact of the day. That is 107th National Indian Science Congress. So Science Congress is a very important event. 107th, in fact 2 to 3 years back it was in the controversy as well, because many scientists, many outside scientists that have criticized it for being a not scientific in nature, because they have started discussing some mythology that okay, in the Ramayana time, in the Mahabharata time, some scientific discoveries were there, and they were criticized for that also, right? So this time science and technology is very important for me also, where they will get many of the keywords here. Why? Because last time, if you remember, Mr. Modi has discussed, our Prime Minister has talked about scientific social responsibility, and based upon that, some scientific social responsibility documents has been published. We have discussed that scientific social responsibility. The Prime Minister has mentioned the scientific social responsibility in the last year's speech. This year's speech also, he has talked about some keywords. So you can track the speech of the Prime Minister for some keywords here. Okay, and those keywords can be used in your ethics essay and GS3, or even in fact in many of the papers, across the papers. So organized in the Bangalore, Karnataka, in the University of Agricultural Sciences. Okay, so right, so it has been organized by the Indian Science Congress Association, a Kolkata based organization funded by the Union Department of the Science and Technology. Right, so I have kept some of the things just for your information how you should do it. For example, my motto for the young scientists is to innovate, patent, prosper, produce and prosper. So you can talk about innovate, patent, produce and prosper whenever the question comes on the for example IPR policy or IPR infrastructure in India. You can talk about this quote. So Prime Minister's keyword for the innovation for this. Then you can talk about we have to build science in motion, or you can talk about technology as the science in motion, something like that, right? So this is a keyword you can use. Then ease of doing science, he has said, for example, here is somewhere ease of doing science is there, right? So growth story of India depends upon the achievement in the science and technology. We want to develop a world craft. This fact you can use, if the Prime Minister is using it, you can use it in the introduction or in the conclusion. Hopefully in the conclusion, if you can use, for example, $10,000 billion biomanufacturing hub. So for example, we have a topic like biotechnology in our GS3, in our science and tech. So there you can talk about the we want to develop $10 billion of biomanufacturing unit by 2024. So these are the things you can focus on it, right? Okay, then more important things, for example, in the speech he has mentioned that our ranking in the innovation index has risen to 54, right? We have discussed Indian global innovation index, right? He talks about owing to the technology of geotagging and the data science, many of the projects are getting timely completed. Geotag, because we have read that Manrega, it is also using the geotagging. Many of the application we have seen in the governance portion. In fact, this particular current affair series can help you a lot in your mains exam answer writing and examples also. Okay, right. So, for example, here he quotes a fact that it have been told that India has climbed to third position globally in number of the peer-reviewed science and engineering publication. It is also growing at the rate of 10% as compared to the global average of the 4%. This is a fact that you can quote. So these are the few things which you can quote it out. Right. So let us revise and quickly finish this particular session. So Indian data relay satellite system, we have discussed that they'll be putting 2 satellites in the geosynchronous orbit. Right, so space to space interaction of the satellites. US and Russia already have their tens of satellites for this. Then we have discussed a small diagram for the types of satellite, right? So we have discussed navigation and scientific rear and communication and observation we have discussed now. Earth observation satellite we have discussed. I talked about the focus on the launch mass, launch vehicle and the orbit type, right? Then we discussed about RESAT series and the Cartosat series within the Earth observation satellite. Then and GSAT-1 will be launched to the geostationary orbit. So focus on the orbits part. Then communication satellite we have discussed the launch vehicle, the mass launch, mass weight. Then GSAT-30 launched from the French Guiana. Why it was launched we also discussed. Then solar orbital mission, very important, ESA and NASA. Okay, then CHOPS satellite will be a new space telescope for the exoplanet. Exoplanet can come because we have seen many of the facts related to those. Then NASA's Artemis mission to the lunar, right, 2024 boots on the moon. Then 2020 CD3 India's mini moon, right? Next, habitable zone planet finder. Then Thoothukudi in Tamil Nadu, they are establishing the second launch center. Then DRDO Young Scientist Laboratory, and finally we discuss 107th National Science Congress, right? So with this we finish our second session of February month. So we have discussed February 1. We have discussed in the last, in fact, 3 sessions. January for ISRO. In February also we have discussed something about space, and the January February 2 also we discussed something about space. Right. So these sessions have been focused more on the space. If you have seen, many of the fact of the December month or the November month I have clubbed together, making you understand the Earth observation satellite and then the recently launched satellite also. So this is what I am saying, that focus on the series as a complete whole, right? Don't see, please do see is a month wise also, but many of the things I skip out so that I can cover it holistically along with the other facts, so as to give you more continuity in terms of the learning is important, right? Rather than anything else, leave the tension or the worry of the horizontal expansion, whether it will be covered or not, to us, that we will take care of it, right? Comprehensiveness is one thing that we are promising you. So with this we finish our session. See you in the next class, everyone. Bye bye for now. Thank you.